I guess everybody thinks they're Indiana Jones.
Welcome back to Ghoster Coasters, and today we're going over an amusement park that almost saw the light of day. Michigan's Winter Wonderland, a Disney, Cedar Point-esque theme and amusement park catered to all 4 seasons, even having a roller coaster open during the winter that went over 70 miles an hour. The best part? The Polar Express themed trip to the park that was planned for the Grayling area, and we got inside the magic to actually write a real article using real facts about this proposed theme park in Michigan, which is, if you know ITM, it's a cesspool, so the fact they wrote a real factual article is beyond us, and the other fact they quoted us is really funny. But hold up, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and join our spooky community today. Now, a little backstory on this project takes us back to a park proposed in Indiana years prior. Enter Sitement and Garfield's Park, as well as another in North Houston as well. Patrick Crosson attempted to build an amusement park in the Indiana area in the 1990s and even raised $10 million for it. The plan eventually fell through, but he had left the project by that time. So that brings us to who exactly is Patrick Crosson and what does he have to do with the Michigan theme park that never happened.
The man behind the concept was a Rochester developer named Patrick Crosson of Axiom Entertainment, based out of Rochester, Michigan, and he had some lofty plans for the amusement park. But there were definitely some people out there skeptical after the failed attempt in the Indiana years back. The concept of Main Street America came about in 2007. The amusement park proposal was a very ambitious project to build something that looked like a cross between Cedar Point and Disneyland. The Gaylord Herald-Times reported that Grayling Township Planning Commissioners voted unanimously to approve the concept plan for a $161 million 4-season Main Street America theme park. The plan required the Michigan DNR to sell land to Rochester-based Axiom Entertainment. One of the highlights of the theme park was the proposed 700 jobs that it would create for the area, which was needed at the time according to many reports.
The 18-acre site chosen was the land at I-75 and US 127 just south of Grayling and north of 4 Mile Road. The target completion date was set for 2010, and the projected number of visitors would be 2.4 million per year, which seemed to be an overestimate at this point and even back then. The up northern folks were particularly interested in this project, but numerous negative op-eds came from downstaters in the Detroit area who were curious about the funding and suspicious of the location, while environmentalists said the land was pristine and needed to be conserved. But what was proposed at this park and why did it all eventually fall through? Some signs were already on the wall, but we'll get into those later.
The $161 million park was admiringly adventurous as one could possibly imagine, with some really bold projections and claims about the type of park it could become. The park would feature several attractions, from winter events such as snowmobile racing tracks and toboggan lifts. Other conceptual features of the park included a shopping district, educational and entertainment exhibits like an assembly line roller coaster, an indoor surfing venue, 500-person competitive video game center, and oval racetrack. 3 roller coasters, 1 open all winter.
Indoor and outdoor water parks, rock climbing, indoor surfing, working farm with 60 horses, industrial, timber, and military exhibits including a full-sized aircraft carrier. Hotels, campgrounds, wind turbines for energy, and more. Really, this place was incredible, so let's get into it season by season as the original site laid it out and how you'd arrive to this winter wonderland.
The park's website coined it as year-round family fun. Bring your loved ones for an experience that they will never forget. It starts with a breakfast cruise on the original Polar Express, and it never has to end. Each season you will arrive in a different themed experience. Come in the spring to celebrate life with your family. Suit up in the summer to float your cares away in the lazy river tube. Smell the fresh cider and donuts that fill the air in the fall, and wrap up your children for the winter slip and slide.
Other entertainment venues were focused only on fair weather activities. For that reason, there is a glut of entertainment parks in southern states, yet Northerners know that the fun doesn't have to stop because the weather changes. In fact, that is when the fun actually begins. Finally, there's a getaway that celebrates all of the seasons. Main Street America.
Now, the main selling point for us here is the roller coasters, of course, but you're telling me we could have had a year-round winter roller coaster that went 70 miles per hour here in Michigan? As a native Michigander, Patrick Crosson, you had such a cool idea here, and we really wish you figured out how to get this done, because we would have been natives to that park by the end of the first season. The park also had cool, innovative ideas such as running scores throughout the park, and beat the park's games where you would have to do certain tasks before entering new areas of the park, which would have been cool for guests who visit often and wanted to change up their experiences. They also had ideas for interactive video game experiences, and today would probably be the cool host of some of these esports gaming events as well. But we'll never really know. We did reach out to Patrick for comments, so let's get into that.
Patrick Crosson did not respond to our email we sent last week. It has been busy, so we hope sometime down the line he gets back to us so we can elaborate a bit further on the park and hopefully share some behind the scenes stuff as well. Trust us, we are reaching out to everyone we can that had involvement with that project. Now, on to each season at the new proposed park and some of the interesting things that would have come along with it. During the spring, come in the spring to celebrate life with your family, and as the flowers begin to bloom, come tour our exquisite gardens and learn about the laws of nature that make life possible on Earth. Sounds like fun time learning in the gardens, experiencing the bloom of the park, and maybe getting some coaster rides in. Remember, one trip will only give you a taste of the memories. You'll have to come back 4 times each year to get the full experience. Moving on to summer, you guys can take a ride on the Au Sable River Fun. It all runs wintertime for the Polar Bear Club as well, but make sure you guys come back in the summer so you can enjoy the water in the sun.
In the fall, take a ride on the Cider Mill Log Ride. Make sure to get your famous Michigan cider and donuts while you are in line. And for winter, earn your bragging rights on the only 70-mile-per-hour roller coaster that runs during a winter snow. Rush in and out of heated tunnels through glaciers and learn about the aquatic life under the ice. But the most important part of this time of the season would be visiting the North Pole. Can you smell the open fire and hot cocoa? Do you hear the sounds of sleigh bells? Or is that the first family tour returning from the snowmobile trails? You have now arrived at the North Pole.
Each season brings a new experience for your family at Main Street America, and winter is no exception. Because Main Street America is located in the snow belt of the Great Lakes state, there will be no shortage of snow, and there is never a shortage of holiday spirit in Main Street America, where Christmas is celebrated all year long. Kind of like, here at Ghoster Coasters and whatnot, Halloween, Christmas, any time of the year, it doesn't really matter. You'll avoid the traffic, take the Polar Express for a shopping experience you guys won't forget. But that is only if you have enough time after your day at the indoor surfboard and water park. Winter-themed amusement rides and your first sleigh ride or carriage taxi as well if you guys want. Go ahead, take your time. After all, it's a holiday you won't forget.
The park sounded like a winter wonderland on paper, but why didn't this mega project come to life? Well, remember the funding thing we were discussing earlier? According to waterwinterwonderland.com, the state of Michigan made it clear it wasn't going to sell the land to Crosson unless he could establish he had the financing lined up, which is understandable. Crosson assured them that they were on the verge of securing the funds. There were also major questions being asked about how Crosson was going to transport a full-size aircraft carrier to the site, which was to be the centerpiece. I have to admit that sounds awesome, but entirely impractical. There was a thought he would try to use the Au Sable River to get it close.
In February of 2009, the big projections and backing that was coming came to a halt as the company shelved the plans. According to MLive.com reporter Eric English, who had the chance to speak with the company's spokesperson, Susan Haddad, the spokesperson for Axiom, said the company was unable to secure financial backing due to the national recession. Investors are taking a wait-and-see approach, she said. It's not the project itself, it's the economic environment, which is a huge difference. From the very same article, Rochester-based Axiom Entertainment on Thursday failed to meet a state deadline to prove it could finance the huge project. As a result, the Department of Natural Resources has canceled the proposed sale of about 1,400 acres of state land to Axiom for $4.4 million. At this point in time, we're going to consider it over, said David Freed, chief of the DNR's Office of Land and Facilities. State officials rejected the company's request for more time to put together a deal.
In 2006, Axiom proposed purchasing state-owned land near the intersection of Interstate 75 and 4 Mile Road as a location for a theme park called Main Street America. The article continues with more from the spokesperson. Haddad said Axiom had secured about $40 million in financing as of the state's deadline on Thursday. The company could revive the project again at a future date, she said. None of us has given up on it. It's not a project anyone wants to walk away from. Whatever course Axiom decides to take, it will have to enter into new negotiations with the DNR. Freed said that would trigger another review of the proposed land sale. DNR Director Rebecca Humphreys told the Michigan Natural Resources Commission Thursday that she was denying Axiom's present request to purchase the property. Freed said the commission agreed with her decision.
It seems as though, much like the Indiana property back in the 90s, they just couldn't secure the financing. Now, whether or not they were trying to legitimately is another question, as all of the projections were super high, and the reality is that they were shots for the stars, and we'll never really know if this was something that could have actually happened. We've seen parks get proposed before and never come to life, and this investor has had this happen more than once, so we can't say anything certainly here, but there are definitely questions to be raised. You can even go back in time and find Kings Island Central post about the park's construction as well, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. It was being talked about outside of Michigan, so what could have been, right?
If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the spooky community today. And hey, what did you all think about this proposed theme park with the Disney and Cedar Point mix being a heavy influence? Winter coaster at 70 miles per hour with heated tunnels? 4 seasons of fun? The Water Winter Wonderland would have been an amazing place, capped off by the Polar Express and North Pole visits. But this was just a pipe dream, not meant to be for us Michiganders, and something else we get to look back at as a lost, abandoned, or forgotten amusement park, surprisingly enough.
Thank you for watching another episode, and we hope you guys enjoyed the backstory, a deep dive into a proposed and never built theme park. The land still sits there today, and we have to imagine, I bet they wish there was a park there because it's been zoned for commercial development since before that project. Time will tell if any other proposals come for a new Michigan theme park ever again, but this one for sure seemed to be the best of them all. Be sure to let us know down below how you think this park would have been to visit, how cool some of the stuff was or just didn't sound, and was all this just too unrealistic from the start?
As always, thank you for being a part of our spooky community
and for Coaster Ghostin' with Ghoster Coasters.